Appalachian Trail. As a lot of folks know, the Hurricane Helene came through back in September and really did a number on this area. You see things like this on the side right here where we have come through and cut, and by we I mean volunteers, Tennessee Eastman volunteers. But now we are trying to build a more sustainable trail, right? Because what is here now is not ideal for the long term. You'll see up farther ahead, a lot of what we're seeing are massive root balls. So where trees came up, they pulled the entire tread up with it. And a lot of the loss we're seeing were full crown, fully alive trees. A big part of actually what we saw was a lot of the leaves were still on because it was late September. And with so much heavy wind, it actually kind of acted as a sail and pulled a lot of these alive trees down. So you'll have messes like this that took hundreds and hundreds of hours to cut through. I think these are, well, no, never mind. I was gonna say these are black-eyed Susans, but they're not. I think they're not black enough in the center. Oh, look at that. They always seem to hover around the creek area. All right, this is the biggest creek to cross, so. Whew. Actually, I don't know if that's recommended. So this is obviously all rhododendron, and it only blooms for a little bit. Wow, look at that butterfly. Speaking of butterflies. And this is an area where you mentioned Roan Mountain earlier. The Roan Mountain community of the town of Roan Mountain does a rhododendron festival every year, which is super cool. So this is where Conorock stages their vehicles, and then they took UTVs up, which we do not have the privilege of this time around. I grew up in Charlotte, but pretty quickly at 18, I moved away to go to school at App State. So been in the Appalachian Mountains for my whole adult life now. Been in Asheville for 10 years. People think the AT is maintained by ATC, and like we do, right? We advocate and maintain and do what we can, but we are a small staff. The real heroes of the trail are the clubs. So like this section, for instance, or where we're about to be, is the Tennessee Eastman Hiking and Canoeing Club. The ones who put in, I kid you not, tens of thousands of hours on the trail. Cutting, maintenance, adding steps, everything in between. They call it a three-legged stool, right? So it's like the clubs, ATC, and then our land managers, who in the South are almost exclusively the Forest Service. The umbrella magnolias. And unfortunately, that's a big part of what we saw after Helene, as you'd guess, is massive, massive tree loss. Southern Appalachians are a rare ecosystem, and the biodiversity is complex and intertwined. And yeah, we lost a lot of good trees, and it's kind of heartbreaking to see. But what do you do, right? She's brutal, beautiful and brutal. The folks from the Shinetsu Trail, which is this long form hiking trail out in Japan, reached out to us, made some connections, but they, wanted answers of like, how do you guys do this? And what is the way we can go about kind of making this one contiguous trail? So all that said, there's been a bunch of kind of exchange programs, if you will, club members from Carolina Mountain Club going over there, some of them coming over here. There's some relationship between typhoon damage and hurricane damage. That's, of course, what Japan gets, weather events like that. So I think they're wanting to see what did we do, to kind of recover from Helene. So it's this really cool, exchanging of knowledge, and the AT is pretty much wouldn't exist without volunteers, right? So they don't quite have that, I think, in Japan figured out. And it's just sort of like, how can we implement more of this and make this into a, just copy the model we're using. So we are about to see the Cherry Gap Shelter, which is an AT shelter. There's not a ton out in the Eastman section. Things are spaced pretty far and wide. And this is one of the shelters that we lost during Hurricane Helene. Yeah. So pretty pretty much destroyed. Shelters aren't easy to build, as you imagine. You saw how far we got, just to come up here. So getting materials and things like that, it can be a challenge. We're still on the AT, but as you can see, blue skies, and that's not what you're used to in an area like this. It's not pretty. It's not pretty to look at. A lot of these are these big root balls that they'll just fill with the down trees as a way to, make it a little safer. They love to do that, make their mark. This was obviously a pretty big hole. What we like to do is take a lot of the dirt that it pulled up, bring it back down, try to fill this in. We, make this into something where it's like, okay, this is easy to hike on. But there's not a good solution for a lot of this. We're seeing so much of this, and you'll see up here farther on the trail, there's even worse. This was the trail itself, the trail went over this, so it's like, how do you address that? But
that's a big dirt slide.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And this isn't even the biggest. Here's the real, hello, I made it.
Awesome. And you made it.
And I brought a guest.
At Cherry Gap along the Tennessee-North Carolina border, volunteers are hard at work, but they can't help getting distracted.
Whoa, I see a bunch of red flowers down there. What are those?
By the rocks, the critters, the flowers.
It's Monarda, mountain mint.
Mountain mint, huh?
It's a stunning place to work.
Like, it's unbelievable. It's really special. So it's why seeing what happened after Helene hurts.
Hurricane Helene closed 430 miles of the Appalachian Trail.
Hello.
The volunteers are bringing it back step by step, clearing down trees,
1, 2, 3.
shaving logs, moving dirt.
We have to fill in a giant hole in the trail. How long is this hole? 20 feet?
At least, maybe
Yeah, 25 feet or so of trail that's dug out by this huge windfall.
Most of the volunteers say the work is a joy.
And one of the best things about this is there's no Wi-Fi and no cell signal. None. It's bliss. Total bliss. And because I'm a university administrator and get like over 500 emails a day, you just can't understand how special that really is.
As damaged as these woods are, to me they are still beautiful.
Crew leader Matt Paranod hiked this trail years ago, but he didn't even recognize the trail when he returned.
Said, oh, this can't be it. And because it looks completely different. It was all wooded.
It's a massive job, but one the Appalachian Trail Conservancy is ready for, using a model that's drawn global interest.
It's really nice to see everybody, working together, communicating.
Kumi Azaiwa manages a 1,000-kilometer trail in Japan, where typhoons can cause similar damage.
Sometimes we have a lot of fallen trees. I think this time is really good timing for me.
She's here alongside 2 other Japanese trail professionals to help and to learn about how to engage volunteers in recovery efforts. Because for many, these woods, this earth is priceless, something they will sacrifice to protect.
To me, this is home. It's my home away from home.
In Unicoi County, I'm Jillian Taylor.